The Sam Sorbo Show is brought to you in partnership by the Herzog Foundation.
Hi there. In a kind of a different episode for the Sam Sorbo Show today, we are going to be talking about the intersection of Hollywood and homeschooling. Yes, I have a young homeschooler who is appearing in a movie. So we're going to cover a little bit about the movie and a little bit about homeschooling and the intersection of those two things coming up now on the Sam Sorbo Show. Here we go.
Sam, welcome back to the program.
I'm glad to welcome Sam Sorbo.
It's great to have you here.
All right, welcome back. This is the Sam Sorbo Show, and my guest is a young actress who is appearing in a new movie called the Sugarcreek Amish Mysteries. The Sugarcreek Amish Mysteries is actually a series of films, but it's cozy, it's character driven. It's a mystery series set in the charming village of Sugarcreek, Ohio, an Amish community. And so you'll if you get a chance to see the film, you'll see some of the Amish customs and traditions and things like that. And then it's all wrapped around a mystery of a disappearing child. And you know what? I'm going to show you the trailer right now, and then I will bring in my guest. Have a look at this.
He's gone! Jack's gone!
Well, I am curious as to why you came to Sugarcreek.
My fiance of 3 years dumped me. I've been having trouble sleeping.
Won't true crime give you nightmares?
No, just paranoia. The killer was in the room.
Cheryl, this is Levi, my brother.
Sugarcreek must be very different from Chicago.
Everyone knows everyone.
I'm Rachel. I'll be seeing you.
Okay. People are definitely a lot friendlier here.
This must be Jack. Oh, he is so sweet.
He did not crawl away. He's been kidnapped.
What's that on the shore?
It looks like blue paint.
Hey, you're interfering with an active investigation. You stay out of this.
Another clue to the killer's identity. I think I know who it is. We might have a suspect.
What exactly are we looking for?
I'd do anything to save my family's business.
Just tell me where you were the night of the party.
Mr. Miller, I have some questions about your whereabouts on the night of the 16th.
Where's Jack Swartz?
I told you, I do not know.
I don't believe you!
All right, welcome back to the Sam Sorbo Show. I am happy to present to you Riley, who is the young actress in the movie, and stunning, frankly. So that doesn't hurt, right? But Riley Beeson is a rising teen actress. She's also an inspiring influencer with a passion for storytelling. She's actually working on her very first book. And she's done several roles in films. This is not her first foray into the acting profession, which is, I'm sure, in part why she became homeschooled, why her parents decided to homeschool her. Welcome to the program.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to see you. And I caught you in the trailer also. And I got to tell you, the movie looks fascinating to me. I want to see it because I understand that it is, while it's not necessarily a faith-based film, it is faith-friendly. Can we say that?
Yes, I would say it's a little bit faith-based too, at least some of the future ones.
Some of the future ones in the series? Okay. And so how did you, let's start somewhere at the beginning, I guess. How did you get the role? What was that process like?
So I had to audition, and the audition was one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which you'll hopefully see at some point. I got to audition for it, and I put on an Amish-looking outfit, which was kind of hard because I didn't know much about the Amish at this time. Now I know loads of information. But I got to audition, and my mom also is in the movie, so she also auditioned, and somehow we landed the part. So I play Esther, and she plays Naomi.
Right. And so what does your character do in the movie? Like, what's the general, plot point that your character hits?
So the main character, Cheryl, she works at the Swiss Miss, and I also work at the Swiss Miss. I'm an Amish, so we're in Sugarcreek, Amish town.
What is the Swiss Miss?
It is a little store filled with baked goods,
okay,
toys, anything you can imagine. It's basically their general store for Sugarcreek. And I work there. I help her out. I'm kind of, I play Naomi's daughter. So Naomi works with Cheryl a lot in all of her mysteries and stuff like that. So I get involved with that a lot.
So they cast a mother-daughter to play a mother-daughter?
Yes. Which
And
was
how
an
was it?
amazing experience.
Was it? Was it fun
was-
working with your mom?
It was awesome. I've worked on a lot of movies, projects, and stuff that I've done with my mom, but we somehow have never played mother-daughter.
Oh.
And we have both curly hair, and we look very close to alike. So it was really cool being able to play her daughter in the movie.
Yeah. Mom, why don't you stick your head in here and we'll get a 2-shot for a minute? Is that not mother and daughter right there? Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So listen, Riley, you don't live in Hollywood.
I do not. I live in Florida.
You live in Florida. How did you embark on an acting career from Florida?
Well, like I said, my mom is also an actress, so I grew up watching her do all of her acting in movies and being on sets and premieres and everything that comes with that. And I did my first short film when I was, I think, 8 or 9, but I wasn't really into acting. I just was kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool, but it wasn't like my thing until I think last year or the year before, I got really big into acting. I wanted to do the auditions. I wanted to do the premieres. I was fascinated in absolutely everything. And I just dove into it. I got into it, and I never want to leave. It's awesome.
And you're 16 now?
I am.
Okay, so when did you start homeschooling?
I started homeschooling in 7th grade. So when I was 12 or 13, I think.
Yep.
Right after the pandemic happened, everyone did virtual school. And I really liked the flexibility and having more time, everything that was good for the virtual school. So we decided to change it into homeschool so we could do our own classes and things that I wanted to learn, stuff like that. And I fell in love with it. There's some times where I miss school, like seeing the friends every day and stuff, but I have that because I can hang out with friends in my neighborhood, and I have so many more opportunities for going on sets and doing all my acting career and stuff like that.
Right. When you're on a set, you get a tutor, right?
I actually don't. You're supposed to. But since I'm homeschooled.
Are you SAG?
No.
Okay. There are SAG requirements for tutors for young people, but maybe not if it's not a union production.
It's because I'm homeschooled.
Is it?
That I can. Yeah, there's certain rules for it, and because I'm homeschooled and my mom comes on set with me, everything works out for it.
Interesting. So it might also have to do with the state that you're in. I'm not sure.
I think that, yes.
My kids had to have a tutor and they were homeschooled. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that it's the certain state that you're in, the certain laws, everything that's like that.
Have you worked primarily in Florida or have you worked in other states as well?
Mostly Florida, but this one shot in Ohio. So we did get to travel for this one, which was awesome.
And do you have siblings?
No, I do not. I'm an only child.
Okay. And so backtracking, because I realize now you started homeschooling basically because of the pandemic, not because you wanted to become an actress.
Yes, it started out like that, and then it formed into, it helps much more with my acting career and all my other careers that I have going for me. Right.
And so it frees up your time.
Yes. My flexibility for everything is awesome. I can travel whenever I want. I have free time whenever I want. It's amazing.
Right. What are you, what kind of curricula are you pursuing as a homeschooler?
So I have my own curricular called Easy Peasy. It's a site that we use. Really good. Definitely recommend. It's very flexible. You get to choose what you want to work on. My parents have a whole thing worked out for me. And I'm also dual enrolled at my local college. So I take 3 college classes a semester.
And how long have you been doing that?
I've been doing that since freshman year. And by the time I'm done next year, at the end of senior year, I will have my associate's degree.
Wow. So a 2-year college degree at the end of high school. That's not bad. Do you think you're going to go on to college?
Yeah.
To study what?
I've been debating. Part of me does want to go to college for the experience, for everything that involves with it. but I'm also really set with all my acting career, and I'm also starting to be an author for some books. I feel like I have a steady idea of what I want to be. So I don't know if I really do need the college aspect of that. But if I were to go into college, I would maybe study writing or an acting class of some sort. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't thought too much into it yet.
Yeah, well, you've got some time. And yeah, I think it does behoove you to consider what you can get out of college before you start putting money in there.
Yes, exactly.
And okay, so how many days did you work on this movie?
We were there for 3 weeks.
That's a long time. That's a long shoot.
I think I worked almost every day except for 2 days out of the whole entire time.
So that's a big part. Do you struggle with memorizing lines, or do they come easy to you?
They come pretty easy to me. I've always been good at memorizing stuff, so memorizing lines is good.
Do you have a favorite moment from on the set?
Yes, I actually have so many for this project. Since we're in Ohio, there's lots of country, lots of animals, and I'm a big animal lover. So one of our scenes, my mom got to learn how to drive a buggy, and I got to ride in the buggy with her, and we had our horse named Tony. He's going to be in the movie. He was adorable. We got to see him almost every day. I got a really good connection with him, and it was awesome to ride in the buggy because I never would have imagined myself being able to do that.
You mean a horse-drawn buggy, like an Amish buggy? Yeah, sure.
Yep, Amish buggy. And they all use them down there. It's so cool, all of the stuff that the Amish do. And we got to experience that when we were on set. It was really cool.
So the location where you were shooting is actually an Amish town.
Yes. Yes, it was. And I have a lot of funny stories because one of the times I was still in my Amish costume. My hair was in the bonnet. I looked Amish. And we went on a lunch break, and we're at one of the lunch places, and it's filled with Amish people. I mean, like, we're the only people that probably weren't. And we're walking around, and we felt like impersonators because everyone else was still dressed in Amish. Like, everyone else was Amish, and we were just faking Amish. It was so odd, but everyone was Amish. Every Amish is so sweet. They're amazing people.
They're amazing people. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to ask my guest, Riley Beeson, about a little bit more about the Amish people and what she learned from them, and a little bit more about her homeschool journey and how it fits in with this lifestyle. Because I want you guys to be aware of the tremendous opportunities that being homeschooled can offer you and your children. I might even drag her mother in for a brief moment to ask her a few questions. And then, of course, my 3 standard questions. So stay tuned. This is the Sam Sorbo Show. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning into the Sam Sorbo Show. You know, we are in a battle for our very nation, a nation that was founded on Christian principles and on the Bible. The 10 Commandments is the basis for our rule of law. But these days, when you go talk to people on the street, you'll find that most of them don't even know what rule of law means. And that's why I'm so proud to have Herzog Foundation as a sponsor of my show. I also love what they do because they seek for the benefit of Christian education throughout the nation. So Herzog Foundation is a wonderful partner for us here at the Sam Sorbo Show. Thanks for watching. Give your friend the very best with farm to pet dog treats made from 100% single human grade ingredients. These treats never include byproducts, binders, fillers, additives, preservatives, or artificial ingredients. Just pure, wholesome goodness. Visit farmtopettreats.com and use code SAMSORBO to get 25% off your next order. Treat your dog to healthy, delicious snacks they will love today. All right, welcome back to the Sam Sorbo Show with my guest, Riley Beeson. Hey, Mom, can you just jump in for just a minute? I'll put the screen like that so we can see both of you. And so you started homeschooling. You had already started before she decided that she wanted to act. What did you think about your daughter going into acting after you?
You know, you're a little bit hesitant because, as you know, in this industry, you know, it's brutal at times. Brutal. But I knew as long as I eye on everything and kept, because there's too many kids that are getting in this industry and they don't know what's going on and they get talked into things they shouldn't be getting talked into. And so that was always a fear, but I knew that I would always be with her and could guide her.
Right. So you decided, I suppose, I don't know what else you might have been doing aside from your acting career, but if she got a job, you would have to forego, in a sense, what you were doing and travel with her, right?
Yes. I only act, so my schedule's more open. She's
Right.
been going to set with me, and I've been going to set with her, and it's been real. But like she said, we did a lot of projects together, just not mother-daughter till this one.
Right.
And one thing she didn't touch on is the beauty of homeschooling is, more time with family, more time focused on things you love versus things they're forcing you to do.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that have changed in the education world in the past 4 or 5 years, and we don't always see eye to eye with some of that stuff. So it was.
I love how you're like just pussyfooting around the,
Yes.
There's a lot of things that have changed. Darling, this morning I saw a video of a transgender man who has been tapped to perform for an elementary school.
Oh, wow.
And this individual is on stage wearing a black corset and a bright pink wig, undressing a man.
Oh, boy.
And grabbing his private area.
Oh, boy.
And the PTA deemed this individual appropriate to entertain elementary school children.
Oh, wow.
So
it's so hard.
Eye to eye.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard because this industry, I know tons of people with different views on things, and I respect all of it. It's a fine line, like you were saying, I was, tiptoeing around this, but yeah, because I don't want to offend anyone. I am in this industry. But there's just some things that I think people should keep private at home.
Okay, fair enough. But also the truth is offensive.
Yeah.
The truth is intolerant. The
Right.
truth is the truth, right? And you guys are people of faith, and that was one of the notes that I had on Riley, is that she's interested in preserving her faith and upholding her faith in the work that she does, which is a beautiful thing. You're obviously raising a fine young Christian woman, and it's important to protect our young people from the nefarious things of the world for as long as we can, right?
Right, exactly. Oh, another fun fact. Her and I did a couple of JC films, and I know your husband does JC films.
Very good. Well, we're all in Florida, and he's here in Florida, and I'm sure that one day we'll all run into each other on some project or other. So you started homeschooling. You started with one curricula. Did you stick with that curricula, or did you switch?
We did. We stuck with Easy Peasy. It's faith-based. And we, of course, have added our own things along the way and changed things up. And, sometimes I'll go through it and I'll go, I don't feel like you need to do this.
Yeah.
And we'll change it up. But then because she's dual enrolled at school,
I get a lot of my schooling from the college, I would say.
From college. Sure. Yeah. Sure. And so what are your favorite things to study?
Well, I like studying writing and English and stuff because I do like writing books. I haven't really taken this class yet, but I do like the study of it. I really like marine biology. I always have. I thought that was going to be my career before I got into acting, but now it's just more of a hobby, I would say. But yep.
And so, and in your college, you're going to have an opportunity to take a marine biology course, you think?
Hopefully. I don't know if they have one or not. If not, though, I will find some website or something, YouTube channel, whatever, to learn some stuff. Because I already do that. I take notes and stuff.
Last year, we did a homeschool trip to the Keys, and we went with a marine biologist.
Oh, wow. Was that organized for like a group of homeschoolers?
Yes, it was amazing. One of the best trips I've ever been on. I learned so much. It was super cool to see the marine biologist and stuff and hear her talk and learn all of the stuff that she was trying to teach me and stuff.
That's great. I love the idea of putting that out in front of people, that there is a smorgasbord of opportunities, especially now with the growth, the tremendous growth that we've seen in the homeschool movement. That there are these opportunities. I'm actually leading a tour of homeschoolers in DC next year, in actually in May. So it's a ways away, but because I did that with my family when my kids were young, and I wanted other families to have that opportunity to get the history and some of the flavor of Washington, D.C. for their kids, the Smithsonian, Mount Vernon, all of the great places. But yeah, I would have killed to do a marine biology tour of the Keys, or, something along those lines. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was.
So, all right. So I'm supposed to say that this Sugarcreek Amish Mysteries, which is called Blessings in Disguise, airs on April 20th on UPTV. And now I need to ask you my 3 final questions, and I'll ask both of you so you can each answer. You actually, Riley, I can't really ask you this. What's your education background, and do you use it in your current career? So this is more for your mom, because we've already covered your education and where you are today.
I got a BA in theater from Rollins College in Florida, private college. And this may not go over well, but honestly, I wish I had just done a couple years of college and then gone straight to LA. I did all 4, got my degree, worked for a year, and then went to LA. But I tend to feel that college isn't all it's cracked up to be. It used to be so much better in so many ways. Has it helped me? Sure, I guess, and just, knowledge of being able to talk to people and handle things. But I haven't had one acting job ever say, "Can I see your degree?" or, anything like that.
Nobody ever asked to see your degree.
No, never.
I get accused of having graduated Duke University, and I'm like, but I didn't graduate. I don't want people saying that I lie and say that I graduate. So I have to correct people.
Right.
But it's interesting that you say, you said, do I use it? Like, it made me, it gave me the ability to speak to people or to present myself or something like that. And then of course the follow-up question is, would you not have learned that anyway? Because that should be the follow-up. Like, the things that you got out of college, would you not have learned them anyway? And so that's what I try to ask people. And this idea that you postponed going out to LA. So tell me about that just briefly. Why was postponing going to LA sort of a negative?
Well, everything in this business is about youth, and I could have gotten out there, a few years younger and just really hit the ground running. Instead, it was a delay, and then learning everything. You got to learn and get those right agents and managers and everything you need to know. But
right, the going to LA is just the first step. Then there's all the other steps that follow. And so once you've delayed that, and in fact, you might make the point that the other steps that follow take longer because getting there took longer. So they're just not as fast. So that's interesting. Okay. What advice, this is for both of you, or each of you, I should say, what advice would you give a younger version of yourself?
Go ahead.
I would tell my younger self to stop overthinking and trust God's plan. Everything happens for a reason, even the little things. Everything happens for a reason. I've decided that. I really do think it does. I would also say that rejection is not the end of the world. My favorite saying is, rejection is God's protection, or rejection is God's redirection. And I've kind of stood by that, because I used to get a little bit sad, like when I wouldn't get something back from an audition, or something wouldn't work out the exact way that I want it to, or my crush wouldn't like me back, anything like that. The rejection would hurt a little bit until I realized that it was God's plan and it wasn't supposed to happen. Something better is coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
same thing. I would have told my, I agree completely with that. I would have told myself to trust Just have faith in
Yes.
God and know that if the part is yours, it's yours.
Yes, exactly.
And to not stress. And when I think back to all the years of, stressing, why didn't I get that? Why didn't I get that? Or I could have done this differently. No. Just do it. Move on. If it's meant for you, it's yours.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you guys a story because I think it'll help you, Riley. More importantly, I think your mom's seasoned enough that she understands the machinations, but also other people, because I think it really sort of highlights a little bit about Hollywood. I auditioned for a big producer whose name escapes me right now. But he produced 90210, and they were doing another show along those lines. And sorry, Aaron Spelling. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, and they had a reader to read opposite me, and there were a bunch of producers in the room, and I read. And the show was it was a evening kind of soap opera, and I had dressed kind of down, and I noticed that all the other girls in the room were dressed in heels and short skirts and that whole thing. And I had kind of dressed down. I wasn't quite dressed that way. And I auditioned, and I thought the audition went very well. And frankly, I thought, okay, I did what I needed to do. If the part is mine, it will be mine. But later I called my agent and I said, did you get any feedback? And she called me back and she said, they said you were terrible. They didn't understand why you wore what you wore. It was awful. The casting director doesn't know if she'll ever call you back in again. It was just, I don't know what you did, but obviously you really ticked somebody off there, kind of thing. And I, of course, as a young actress, that's like the end of your career. Like
Right.
every job is your last job. And
Wow.
I went through, at least a few weeks of torturing myself over my decisions, right? And what I thought, and by the way, like second guessing myself, because I thought I did a really good job. I thought they were happy with what I did. I thought that I'd, nailed it. And maybe they weren't going to cast me because I was brunette and not blonde or whatever, but I thought that I'd done a great job. And about a year later, I went to another audition, and sitting in the room was somebody that I didn't know. And she recognized me, and she called me, my maiden name was Jenkins. She said, Sam Jenkins. And I looked at her and I was like, yes. She's like, Sam Jenkins. My word, I never thought I would see you again. It's so great to see you. And I said, well, thank you. How do we know each other? She said, I was the reader in that Aaron Spelling showroom. And I said, oh my gosh, don't even start on that. She said, what do you mean? I said, the feedback I got on that was, it ruined my life for a period of time. And she said, what? She said, they loved you. And I said, what? Come again? She said, why do you think I remember your name? My gosh, they just kept repeating your name. They just were looking for somebody who did at least half of what you did with that part. They just adored you. Sam Jenkins. They couldn't hire you because you were too tall, but they, every guy on the show was like a midget, and they just loved you. Like I'm experiencing PTS telling you this story right now. Like, and it just, don't believe anything that anybody says. Don't believe it if it's positive. Don't believe it if it's negative. Trust your instincts. And if your instincts are wrong, they will be proven wrong in time.
Wow. Where did your agent come up with those notes?
I'll tell you, I think that it was the receptionist person who was kind of an angry guy.
Oh.
It was just somebody in the back somewhere who was having a bad day. A lot of casting directors, and that means casting directors' assistants, are failed actors.
Right.
And so he was probably a failed actor who was assisting, not happy to be there, and just decided to mess with the girl who was good enough for them to just keep mentioning her name, right?
Wow.
So
Ruined you. Think about how harsh that was. That could have ruined you. You could have stopped and you didn't.
oh, I think that was the point.
It's amazing.
Oh, I think that was the point. Let me ruin this person's life. Let me ruin this person's life. And we're seeing it more and more in our culture today because we've gotten away from our Christian ethos.
Yep.
We've moved away from it. And that's why it's important, Riley, that you hold fast to your faith and make sure that you're making choices for your career that uphold that. And it's difficult to do because the temptations are there and the pitfalls are placed right there in front of you. And yes, it could have totally derailed me. I might have just walked away at that point, but I don't know. I guess I'm too stubborn, thankfully. And yeah. And so, all right. So lastly, what do you guys think is the most urgent cultural shift that we need to see take place in our society today?
I would say everyone needs to bring God back to the center of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone looks for happiness in social media, TV, success, money, everything, fame, anything. And faith it comes from peace. You won't have true peace unless you have faith. And I think everyone needs to bring God back to their focus, because then we'll have a kinder life. Everyone will be a better person. I genuinely think that everyone needs God.
I agree. God is what is missing in this world. The world is lost. Everyone I know, no one's really happy. And it's because they don't know what it is.
Yes.
So they're looking for external things to blame
Exactly.
it on. It's the politicians. It's this. It's the prices of the eggs. It's all this stuff, instead of going back to God and inside what makes you happy. It's not external. And I 100% agree with you, honey. It is God.
Yep.
So I love that you say that. And I will say that people look for happiness in monetary things,
Yep.
because they go to school for 13 years and they're told that money is the be all and end all.
Right.
Yes.
And and in fact, the people in the schools are hiding God and the Bible from them.
Yes.
So I love that you, first of all, thank you so much for representing. I love talking about the film. I can't wait to see the film. And I can't wait to see more from both of you. It's a pleasure to meet you both.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for me. This is the Sam Sorbo Show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Just remember, speak truth and speak it boldly.
The views and opinions expressed in the Sam Sorbo Show are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views and positions of the Herzog Foundation.